Okay, so as we continue looking at the meanings of Arya Shatakam from Shloka 6 onwards, now as we all know, Arya Shatakam is known for describing the glory, the general glory of goddess Kamakshi, and like the name suggests, the entire Arya Shatakam is composed in the Arya meter, that is the Chandas, right? So, Shloka number 6 onwards, what we get to see is Paraya Kanchi Puraya, meaning that great goddess Devi who lives in Kanchipuram is none but Kamakshi, who has a very good physique that is there. Paraya Pina Kuchai Bharaya, meaning even the chest part. We had already seen this last time. Sthanam, that is the chest or the breast part that is there, is very much dear for, or you can say that is very well developed for goddess Kamakshi. Like we had seen last time, the chest part of every woman or every mother who is there has to be very well developed, because that is the most important part, especially for a small child, for a baby also, because that's where usually you see small babies, when we lift them, we keep them close to our heart, right? That's where that child, though it does not know anything, it has not yet come to that realization, anything that what is there around, who's there around. You see why still babies can always find out their mother is. This is one reason, because the touch that is there, the child and the mother takes the baby and keeps it close to her, it can actually feel that, it seems, it knows that this person belongs to me. So that's the reason why even not only mothers, in general also, why do we keep babies close to our chest? This is one reason, is that's where our life is breathing, right? The pumping the child can hear, and that's where life comes out. And also through sthanam, just as mothers give milk to new babies, Kamakshi is Jagat Janani. So definitely when she is nourishing the entire world, her chest part, her physique has to be very, very beautiful. Now this is all just a literary meaning. We have to look at the deeper meanings behind it, saying the mother goddess who is there, Kamakshi Devi, is so well ready, or you can say she is so much decorated, she has dressed herself so beautifully that she is waiting for all bhaktas like you and me to come and seek her grace. Her eyes are very beautiful, she has lotus like eyes, Mookapanchashati, and she is all captivated, she has all captured our minds, it seems. That's the reason we feel like looking at the goddess again and again. Further in Shloka number 7, the poet he describes Aishwaryam Indu Mauleram. Now the goddess sits in the middle of Kanchipuram, and she is one with the ultimate Brahman. That is, there is nothing beyond the goddess. That is, whenever we talk about the goddess also, she is nothing but the Almighty, the Supreme who is there. And she is there along with Shiva, and she is the moon. Now for Shiva, if you see, he always has the crescent moon over his head. That is like wealth, it seems, or a gem for Lord Shiva, because it adds to the Bhushanam, it adds to the beauty of Bhagavan. That's the reason along with Shiva, that is Kameshwaraha, Devi Kamakshi also resides, and both of them, they also safeguard, or they are the very purpose, the purport of the Vedas. Further, Shloka number 8, what has is sitting on the banks of the Kampa Nadi, Kampa Simanam, Shatakampa Simanam. Now this form of the goddess, it seems, is a bit red color. Both Shiva and Kamakshi Devi are sitting together on the banks of the Kampa Nadi, and it seems that the form of Devi Kamakshi is as if she is removing all the resolve of Lord Shiva. Now we all know Shiva is always in a form, in a meditative state, right? Even Kamadeva also cannot win over Bhagavan, but Kamakshi Devi is sitting in such a position also that she can even captivate the mind of Bhagavan. And it seems that she again gave life to love. That's how Bhagavan Shiva also gets attracted towards her. And what was the purpose for this? It's not a mere attraction that takes place. Kanchukita Bhuvana Bhumanam, for the purpose, for this very world to exist. That's the reason today also, whenever you see there are the Dampati Pujas and things like that, why do we do like this? We have a respect for every grihastha, right? For both the husband as well as the wife. That's why we say the Dampati should always be like Shiva and Parvati, or they should be like Lakshmi Narayana, Brahma, Saraswati, and so on. Why such comparisons are made is that itself shows the importance of Dampatyam, which has been first propagated by Kamakshi and Kameshwara. Jagatav Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau. Like Kalidasa in his Mangalacharanam in Raghuvamsham, Vagartaviva Sampruktau Vagarta Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau. Parvati and Parameshwara, or Kamakshi, Kameshwara, any form of the goddess, they are the parents of the world. The entire world looks upon them. Therefore, for the world to function smoothly, both Kamakshi and Kameshwara had to become one and come together so that the world will continue to live. Further, Adritakanchi Nilayam. The poet says that now in Kanchipuram what happens is there is a red kandali flower, it seems, a very very beautiful flower which is offered to Parashakti. That's the reason now again a very very auspicious time for us. We have the Chaitra Navaratri that is there. Now in fact I don't know how many of us might be aware of this. There are in all many Navaratris that come in along the year, right? About 4 or so we say. First being of course, Gupta Navaratri has happened. From the Hindu New Year that is there, we have the Chaitra Navaratri that comes in first. Though for many of us, the New Year has not yet come. Still, when we have the Chaitra Navarasham that has started, we already have the first Navaratri, which is the Chaitra Navaratri. Now, what is the difference between this Chaitra Navaratri and Sharad Navaratri? We worship the goddess, the same forms of Parashakti, Shailaputri, Chandraghanta, Brahmacharani, Chandraghanta, and so on. All the forms of the goddess are worshipped every day. But it seems that there is one small difference. In Chaitra Navaratri, what happens is, while it leads to new beginnings, it seems that we have to meditate upon the goddess, it seems. In fact, during Sharad Navaratri, the usual Navaratri festival that we celebrate, it is all about celebration, right? We invite people to our houses, we go outside, visit other people's houses. There is a lot of dance, music, celebration that is there around, right? So that celebration that is there, it becomes quite easy. Going and speaking to people, maybe chanting shlokas aloud, coming in groups to sing songs, chant prayers, visit temples, maybe dance forms are there like Garba and so on in certain states. Then in Dakshina Bharatam, if you go, we have the Golupadis that are being kept, or in Uttara Bharatam, if you go, you have a lot of those, like you have the Mata Ki Chauki and things like that. So basically, it is a celebration where people come together and celebrate. But in Chaitra Navaratri, it is said that you don't have to call people or you don't have to do big celebrations also. You can definitely chant prayers, shlokas, sing songs, but most important is tapasya, it seems. That is meditation, meditating upon the form of the goddess, doing tapascharya, keeping upavasam and so on. That's the reason during this Chaitra Navaratri, many people will fast, or rather we should fast. So, wherein we awaken the goddess who is there inside us, and we prepare ourselves for the new year that has started, for new beginnings, so that all through the year things will always be peaceful, our minds will be full of bhakti. So here also, while the poet describes about Bhagavati, what he says is, we must always look upon the red kandali flower that is there, which is offered to Parashakti. That's the reason it is said that offering any red flower or dadima phalam, that is pomegranate fruit, to Parashakti is very very auspicious. She lives in the town of Kanchipuram and she is the bud of the Vedas, it seems. Now what is the bud of the Vedas? That is the root cause, or you can say a very very bud in the sense, the part which comes, like Bhagavan also tells in the Gita, Sarvopanishado gavo dokta gopala nandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdam geetamritam mahat sarva upanishadaha gavaha. So similarly, the bud of the Vedas, even in the Mookapanchashati, is said to be the Upanishads. Next, shloka number 10. Tunga Abhirama Kuchabara Shrangaritam Ashrayami Kanchigatam. The poet further continues, wherein he says that I always surrender and pray to this pretty goddess of Kanchi, the god who carries the Ganga Nadi with him, who is nothing but Paramashiva. Both of them, they are living here, and they have got a very divine sacred knowledge that is there, which they all have ultimately given to us in the form of so many shlokas like this, like Mookapanchashati, Lalita Sahasranama and so on. Kanchi Ratna Vibhushanam. Further, poet says, I meditate on that divine goddess who is the jewel of Kanchi. Today also, whenever we say Kanchipuram, the first thing that comes to our mind has to be Kanchi Kamakshi, and further, of course, Mahapariva and so on, right? So she is the jewel of Kanchipuram. She sits on the Vamabhagam, or that is the left side of Paramashiva, and she is the one who has revived Manmatha, that is a god of love. Shiva had already destroyed Manmatha, but after Kamakshi Devi comes in, it was revived back. That's the reason we have the importance of love, affection that is there, which is still there in this world. Further, Kampati Charana. Mooka Kavi says, may our mind always be the playground which witnesses or which always remembers the divine play between Paramashiva and Kamakshi. That is, may we all remember the goddess in whatever we do. She roams about the banks of the Kampa Nadi and she ensures that Kesham Chid Bhavatu Chid Vilasana. She ensures that her grace is showered on all her devotees. Karuna Rasam that is there always falls from her eyes, it seems. But for that, as seekers, as bhaktas, we have to go and ensure that grace of the goddess falls on us. Now, that doesn't mean that, okay, if I don't show bhakti, Bhagavan will not, or Bhagavati will not shower her grace on us. It doesn't happen that way. This is human tendency, right? I do this to you, then you do that to me. You are not doing that to me, I will not do that. So this tit for tat mentality is for humans. In the case of the Lord, it doesn't happen that way. But still, bhakti is something which is very much needed. Like Bhagavan also, if we take the example of the Gita, everywhere, though he is advising Arjuna and ultimately all of us through the medium of the Gita, there is no compulsion. Or throughout Sanatana Dharma, any text that you take, there is no compulsion that is made. You have to do things this way only. If you do not do, it will lead to this. Such things are not told, right? Like I always give you the example of even showing bhakti. If we are about 70 to 75 people, every 1 year we have our own ways of doing bhakti. For few of us, maybe doing nothing is also bhakti, right? Doing nothing in the sense, like Bhagavan also tells in the Gita to Arjuna, you don't do anything bad, that also is bhakti for me. Many times what happens is, maybe we cannot do anything good, but we ultimately cause so much of harm and trouble to others that it becomes more difficult. So Bhagavan therefore says, you are not able to do anything good, I am absolutely okay with that, but at least you don't cause trouble or harm to anyone. If you are living that way, that also is bhakti for me. We might feel that, oh, this is something which is very easy, right? Okay, I am not doing anything, that's fine, I will ensure that I don't cause trouble to anyone. But if we deeply think over it throughout the day, it is very difficult, right? Maybe we speak something to someone, it might hurt anyone. There are so many small insects that are there. Knowingly, unknowingly, every day we are causing harm or trouble to anyone. It might not be very great also, but even a small thing, maybe a small argument takes place. Maybe it was not needed, right? Just a small thing would have happened, but maybe through our anger also it would have become very big, right? So such things do happen. So therefore Bhagavan very cautiously tells Arjuna that you have to be very, very careful. When I am saying that you don't do anything but don't cause trouble to others, that also I will consider as bhakti. You have to be very careful, because you might feel things are easy, but in reality they are not. So here also Kamakshi Devi or Mooka Kavi tells that though we are all doing so many wrongdoings also, many times what happens is, at that point also, at the beginning of the Gita, if you see, Arjuna again seeks refuge from Bhagavan, right? He also tells, I don't know what to do. He surrenders to the Lord. Only then Lord starts his Upadesham. So here also, whenever we say that Kamakshi Devi is showering her grace on all of us, we have to also, now for that also the grace of the goddess is needed. If today we are all together, we are about to learn Mookapanchashati also, it is the goddess will only, right? About the crores and millions of people who are there in this world, if she has chosen a few of us amongst them to learn this divine text, we all have to consider ourselves blessed. But there, one thing is very, very important is, I need to put in my best of efforts, otherwise it is no use. When the goddess has been so kind to me, she has showered her grace on me by giving me an opportunity to learn this divine text, it is my duty to give back to her, right? So just as it is always said, not only with regards to this Mookapanchashati, in general also it is said here, like the goddess also and Bhagavan also in various texts and so many other things, But you also have some, if I'm not wrong, some poets, I think, German or French poets, and some, they also make such statements, and it is actually the reality, wherein this life that I have got in, whatever you have got today, that is God's gift to you. But whatever you make of that and whatever you do of your life, that is nothing but your gift that you give back to God. Such a very beautiful saying that is there. Whatever I have got today is God's grace, but what I make out of that is something which I give back to God as a return gift. Similarly, the goddess also, when she is showering her karuna on all of us, it is our duty to ensure that our bhakti keeps growing more and more. Further, shloka number 13, Ambratarumula. She is the one who sits below the mango tree, and the poet says that I meditate upon her by using the Sri Vidya way of worship. Many of us are initiated into the Sri Vidya way of worship. Some might not be familiar with that. That is okay. But what is very important is the traditional way of worshipping the goddess is very important. She is the one who is like Amritam to the eyes of Lord Shiva, and she is the one who is always full of energy, it seems. Now, it is all through personal experiences, but if you have ever visited a Devi temple or any temple for that matter, it always leads to positive energy, right? We all feel very, very enthusiastic, very, very cheerful, or even when we are chanting these shlokas or listening to songs and so on, automatically a sense of positivity comes in, right? You don't have to do anything, you just feel happy for that minute, you feel very, very positive, at least for that minute. There are going to be a lot of worries, other tensions which are anyways going about in our life, but at least for that minute it leads to positivity. That is what is told in this verse, that goddess Kamakshi herself is positivity. She is full in the form of very, very young lady who is there, full of energy, cheer and enthusiasm. Further, Adikanchi Paramayogibihi, shloka number 14, Mookapanchashati says that my mind is always occupied in the rituals that I need to do to worship the goddess. Goddess is in a form, a very, very red form, it seems, maybe due to the kunkuma that has been offered to her. She was seen by the great divine yogis of ancient Kanchipuram, it seems. She has occupied the most ancient Pitha, which is the Kanchi Kamakoti Pitha of which is there till today. Now, with regards to the most ancient Pitham that is there, Anubaddham Mama Manasam Adhima Parapita. Adhima is one of the ancient Pithas. Here again there will be a lot of controversy that comes in, but in every Pitha has made their own proclamation. We don't have to get into that. What is most important is, like the original shloka goes in, Adhima Parapita Sindhi Drishyena, one of the ancient Pithams, which is the Kanchi Kamakoti Pitham, where goddess Kamakshi is worshipped. All the other our acharyas are also worshipped there. So whenever such things come in, like there can be other places in other stotras also, some contradictory statements like this, maybe 4 pithas, each of them will have their own thing, right? Everything has been established by Adi Shankaracharya only, but no, this came first, that came first. Like even with the Samadhi of Shankaracharya, some controversy, some say it's in Kedar, some say it's in Kanchipuram. So again, it is a controversy that comes in, wherein we don't have to rack our brains there. Both are established, or all the Pithas have been established by Adi Shankaracharya. What is most important to us is they are very, very ancient Pithas. The parampara, the tradition that is there, is still followed till date. It is our duty to follow the same and ensure that we pray to the goddess. That is the only thing in our hands, right? So Kavi says that my mind is always tied by those rituals. Many yogis have worshipped goddess Kamakshi. Many acharyas have worshipped there, and till date the same parampara is being followed. Ankita Shankara Deha. Now in Kanchipuram what happens is, we have Bala Tripura Sundari. Bala Devi is nothing but a small child form of Kamakshi Devi. Many places you have Bala Tripura Sundari, who is worshipped, a very, very, you can say, powerful, divine goddess Bala Devi. Of again in Kanchipuram is always youthful, very, very cheerful, a small goddess, and it seems that she is said to have made a body of Lord Shiva, Shankara, out of mud, it seems. That is in the form of a sand lingam. Now we all know the story, right, of the Ekambareshwara Natha lingam, which actually represents a Prithvi element, because she has made the Shivalinga out of sand. And it seems that while she was making it, she comes near it also. So the part of her chest comes there, or while she was making it, her bangles also touch the sand. So there are all marks of her body parts and her bangles, it seems, on the Shivalingam. So the story is, when Parvati Devi was worshipping Bhagavan in the form of a sand lingam that is there, Bhagavan ensured that river Kampa Nadi overflow. So this is the times when Shiva and Parvati had some arguments amongst them. Parvati Devi was doing a lot of tapasya to get Bhagavan Shiva as her husband. That's when Bhagavan also, to test her, like a Leela, he also puts in some difficulties. That's when, while she was preparing the Shivalingam out of sand, he caused the Kampa Nadi nearby to overflow. Obviously, when water is overflowing, the sand lingam is going to break, right? But the goddess was also so firm and Dhrida Bhakti she had in her, that she protected the lingam in such a way by embracing it, by giving it a very tight hug, and that's how it seems that a lot of marks were left on the lingam, which we can see even today in the Ekambareshwara temple in Kanchipuram. Next, Madhuradhanusha Mahidara. Now, because of goddess Kanchipuram, because of the goddess of Kamakshi in Kanchipuram, it seems that, and because she is red in color, everything around seems red, it seems. As if on the mountains that are there, a red light has come up. Then, the goddess, we know she has a bow which is made of sugar cane and flower arrows that are there. And the goddess has got a very, very divine form. And the form of the goddess, we know the red hibiscus flower, Japa Kusuma, the shoe flower, you see how bright red it is. But the goddess's form seems to be more redder than that too, it seems. Madhura Smite Naramate. Very, very beautiful shloka. Goddess walks with a very sweet, Madhuram Smitaha. With a very, very sweet and subtle smile, she is walking very, very slowly in the middle of Kanchipuram. She has captivated the minds of Bhagavan Shiva, and she ensures that the god of love is also under her control only, and it has captivated even Bhagavan Shiva. So it seems that even today also it is said that Kanchipuram is the place where Kamakshi resides. She is a divine form. Like we say in Kashi, we have Bhagavan Shiva who is present everywhere, right? Similarly, in Kanchipuram, we have Devi Kamakshi who is present, it seems, live. We can actually feel her presence in Kanchipuram. That's how it is said. Dharanimayim. Mookapanchashati says, on the banks of the river, I see my mother Amba, it seems, who is in the form of the Panchapranas. She represents the 5 elements: earth, sun, air, sky, fire. She is the one who does the fire sacrifice, and she is also of the form water and the moon. Ambumayim, Indumayim, Dharanimayim, Taranamayim. That shloka, that is Pavanamayim, Gagana, Ambumayim, Indumayim, Amba Manukampamadimamikshe. So the banks of the Kampa Nadi, in every form, air, sky, water, fire, moon, earth, sun, I manifest the form of the goddess, it seems. Mookapanchashati says further, Leenastiti Munirdaye. The goddess, it seems, she lives hidden in the hearts of sages, it seems, of the Kanchi Parampara as well as other yogis who are there. She is doing tapascharya on the banks of the Kampa Nadi. She is filled with the milk of wisdom, it seems. Now, these are all again poetic descriptions that are there. Such comparisons, Upama Alankar, as we say, simile, right? Beautiful comparisons. She is filled with the milk of wisdom. She is the ultimate meaning of Bhagavan, and the Lord of Manmata is the one who has actually killed, or you can say overpowered, the god of love Shiva. She is the one who is there along with him. Now the god of love is supposed to have a fish flag. Now you see all the lords, they have a flag, right? Like Muruga, Kartikeya, he has a cock on his flag. Similarly, Arjuna has Bhagavan Hanuman on his dvajam. Similarly, Lord of Manmata is said to have a fish flag, it seems. So she is the ultimate meaning of Manmatha. That is, she is all Prema Swarupam. Manmata or Kamadeva is nothing but love, right? Kamakshi Devi is the same. That is, she is nothing but affectionate. She is Prema Swarupam only. Shweta Mandara Hasite. white color smile, sparkling smile. She is the one who is beyond words and thought. She has got very, very cooling eyes, and she is what? Paramatatpariyam or Shashwati Mata. Shloka number 20. Shashwataha. Shashwataha meaning eternal. That which is going to exist always. She is the one who is the permanent mother. Shashwati Mata, eternal mother, Jagadhatri, Jaganmata of everyone. Shloka 21. Purataf kada nakaravai. Now here Mookapanchashati, while describing the beautiful bhakti that he had towards a goddess, finally he just asks that, when will I ever get the divine darshanam of the goddess? With extreme emotions by Bhagavan Shiva and of me, Kanchipuram has been made very, very sacred. Even Lord Manmatha is under the control. And the goddess who is there, she is like a very tender plant, it seems, like a tender climber also, like a very beautiful physique she has got. So, having such beautiful things and so many beautiful descriptions that are there, the place is also so wonderful of Kanchipuram. Mookapanchashati says that, when will I ever get the darshana of the goddess? Purataf kada nakaravai. And that's when he continues describing the goddess further. So, in all, if you see, the entire Arya Shatakam talks about the general glory of Kamakshi only, around, in and around Kanchipuram, around the banks of the Kampa Nadi, and her relation with Bhagavan Shiva, who has again ruled over Manmatha. So, that is actually the, you can say, like the background of Arya Shatakam completely.